Today I want to share 23 things to declutter before 2023, and I made sure to include many things that are relevant to almost everybody, so I'm sure there will be several things that you can declutter no matter where you are on your minimalist journey, if minimalism is something you're even interested in. But let's get started because, we have 23 things to get through. So number 1, must-have items that are not must-have items for you. That can be a white t-shirt in your wardrobe. It can be a certain kitchen utensil. It can be, anything in your household, in your belongings that other people think are must-have items that every person should have, every woman should have. That maybe, I don't know, your family taught you have to have it. But if you don't need these, if they are not essential to you, you can gladly declutter them for more space, more clarity, more minimalism, whatever you need. Now, one thing I need to declutter is maybe my hair because it keeps getting into my eyes. But there's nothing we can do about that for this video. So let's move on to number 2. Stuff you already decluttered that's still in your house. Now, that's a big one for myself as well. I need to do that as soon as possible. I have a bunch of decluttered items that are still in my house, and as long as they're still in my house, they're not completely decluttered. They're still here taking up space. So if you have anything that you've already decluttered, that you put on a pile, that you just need to bring somewhere, do that as soon as possible to actually free up the space. Number 3, books you won't read. So if you own a number of books, most likely you have a certain book that either you haven't read, but if you're really honest with yourself, you're most likely also not going to read it, or books you have read, but you're not going to read them again. And unless it has immense sentimental value, then I'm not sure if there's a reason to keep it. Now, of course, books are a sentimental thing for many people, and you really have to decide how you want to handle books. But I think most of us have some books that they won't read again, that are still in our house, that we don't actually need, and that could serve better someone else that actually wants to read them. So declutter your bookshelves. Number 4 is clothes you don't wear. So yes, we sometimes change our style. We sometimes have some backup clothes, but if there are just clothes you never wear, there's no point in keeping them. If you have enough clothes you like, then it's better you give these clothes you don't wear to somebody else who can actually wear those. Because if you keep them in your closet, then maybe after 5 years, they are not good to wear anymore, no matter if you've worn them or not. Elastic parts are time sensitive. Maybe they are so out of style that nobody else wants them anymore. Maybe, moths or something else makes them not wearable anymore. So I think if you have clothes you don't wear, it's better to give them to somebody else that will wear them. Number 5, kitchen utensils, kitchen stuff that you don't use. So I think most of us have not enough space in our kitchen, especially that goes for my kitchen as well. We don't have that much storage, but we kind of try to make sure to only have things we use. But if you have something that you don't use, if you have something that you don't need in your kitchen, get rid of it, give it to somebody else, because kitchen space is crucial. Countertop space is amazing. And so I think it's better to give everything away that takes up space without being used. Number 6 is something I've decluttered for a long time, and now I think I don't have anything to declutter there anymore, but it's bed sheets and household linen, towels and things like that are more than you need, or maybe you also have a certain design or style you got from somebody, you got from your parents or grandparents or something like that you don't particularly like. So I think it's best to just keep what you need and get rid of the rest. Maybe if you have really good ones that you want to use after the ones that you currently use, then maybe keep those, but also keep in mind that towels and bed linen and stuff like that usually is good for many, many, many years. So maybe there's no reason for keeping a lot of that stuff if you're going to keep it for 20 years instead of giving it to somebody who likes it and in 20 years decide what you want then. Number 7 is socks and underwear with holes. Now, of course, you can fix certain holes in certain items of clothing, but this category is just for things that are destroyed by beyond fixing. So stuff that's just not good anymore, especially when it's, underwear and things you wear every single day. I think sometimes it's just time to get a new set and declutter the old ones. So do that. And I think you feel a lot better if you wear some nice underwear that does not have holes. Number 8 is beauty and like skincare and body care stuff that you don't use, that are like not good for your skin, or that you got from somewhere that have ingredients you don't want to use. I think it's best to either give these away or actually just throw them away, especially in the like case of microplastics. In the past, I used to like get some, body lotion or things like that with microplastics. And for one, I don't use body lotion. And then second, if it's microplastic in there, I'd rather throw it in like the garbage where it's burned than using it and putting that microplastic in, the waterways, oceans, and things like that. So I think, especially when it comes to makeup and stuff like that, at some point it's better to just throw it away because it's not good anymore for anybody to use. And it doesn't make sense to keep these things if you really haven't used them for the past few months and don't want to use them in the near future. Number 9 is a bit controversial, and it's food you won't cook. So of course I don't want you to just throw away perfect food, but you have to be honest with yourself. And if you have stuff in your, storage, in your cupboards that you're just not gonna use, then it's better to give it away to friends, family, somebody who will use it, instead of like having it there, waiting for it to go bad, or like, waiting for its eternity, because some things just never go bad. But if you have stuff that you just won't use, either use it or give it away, but don't just leave it there for another few years. Number 10 is one that I really have to do myself still this year, and it's paper clutter. And it's not a fun thing. I think all the other things are kind of easy, but paper clutter is just daunting, and I hate it. But it has to be done. It has to be done to be easier to get to the things you actually need. And I think it's just a good way to get rid of so much weight, so much clutter, so many things that just have no place in your life. So declutter your papers, get rid of everything you don't need to keep, and make yourself a lot freer from all of this weight and clutter. Now, number 11 is a bit more emotional, and I titled it Hobby Gear That Makes You Feel Guilty. What I mean by that is that, your hobbies should make you feel good. Your hobbies should be something you enjoy doing. And then if you have hobby gear or sports gear, working out stuff that you don't use, it's taking up a lot of space and it might make you feel guilty. So if it's standing there looking at you and you think, I should really do that, but you don't want to do it, then I don't think there's a reason for keeping it. If it's hobby gear, if it's things you should do in your free time and you don't want to do it, it's better to get rid of those. And maybe if in 10 years you want to start that hobby again, it's better to not have it lying around for 10 years making you feel guilty, because then I think the chances of you starting that hobby again are actually a lot slimmer than if you get rid of it, have a fresh start, a fresh mind, and can make up your mind again in 10 years whenever you feel ready. So I think sometimes it makes sense to give these things to somebody else, sell them, get rid of them, to not, have them there pushing you to do stuff that you don't want to do. Number 12 is a funny one, but I included it because I think it's much more realistic than I thought in the past. And it's stuff that doesn't belong to you, but still ended up in your house. And why would that happen? But it happens to me all the time, or again and again and again. So it's stuff friends forget. It's stuff you wanted to bring to a family member. It's things that you kept for somebody else after decluttering because they said they wanted it. Things that don't actually belong to you, but somehow just are in your house. Let me know if you have things like that, because I think it's a fascinating category. But I think it's time to take care of these things, because they shouldn't, clog up your apartment, your house. And it's better if they get to the person they actually belong to, or the person that wants those things. So get rid of these. Number 13, broken tech. I also have a broken phone I still haven't brought away, and some old batteries and things like that. So there's just, with tech, I think there's a lot of stuff involved that you kind of have to take care of at the end of its life, and it tends to keep laying around, even though it's important for recycling. So I think it's a good time at the end of the year for a fresh start in the new year. Get rid of your broken tech, get rid of your broken electronic devices and batteries and things like that, to not have them lying around in the new year. Number 14, we move to the less physical space now, is your email inbox. I did it recently with one of those, I think, but I have several email inboxes and they're always full and cluttered, and I think it's so hard to keep like on top of it. But it needs to get done. I think it's life is so much better if your inbox is sorted, and so I do highly recommend you declutter your email inbox. It's best to just unsubscribe from all the newsletters you can, because that's actually a lot of wasted energy, and in both meanings, like it takes a lot of power actually to deliver these unwanted emails, as well as your mental energy when you want to get to the emails that are actually important and you have to sort through all of the spam. Number 15 is digital pictures. I think it's so important to declutter these from time to time. And I know there are different philosophies and different ways to do it, but find a system for you that makes sure that you can get to the good pictures, that makes sure that you will actually look at them from time to time. And if you never look at them, then you have to ask yourself why you're keeping them, or if you have to like print them out or find a different solution. But I don't think it helps us if we have like terabytes of pictures laying around on hard disks, on phones, on computers, on different devices, if there's no systems, if we cannot like access the good ones. So I challenge you to take a day to sort out these things and to have a system that makes it like possible for you to enjoy these beautiful pictures without being frustrated because of all the clutter. And if you really declutter them, you end up like saving a lot of money if you don't have to buy extra hard drives. At least that's the case for my life, and I make sure to declutter them on a regular basis, but I still have to do like the finishing touches for all the 2022 pictures and videos. So that's what I'm going to do before the end of the year. Now let's move on to the stuff in here, but I think it's also really, really important to declutter these. So the next one is declutter your mental to-do list. And by that I mean things that are like lingering on your to-do list. You think, oh, I need to get to that, oh, I need to do that, but I don't feel like it today. And especially like doctor's appointments would be one thing on my to-do list. So something I still want to do this year is make like a dentist appointment for next year, because the last time I was, they said they still don't have like the planner for the new year, so I couldn't make an appointment for the new year. And so I really need to do that dentist appointment, also OBGYN appointment, and whatever like appointments or other things on your mental to-do list you have that weigh you down, that like, you know, you remember when you try to fall asleep, things like that. Get rid of these items from your to-do list, make these appointments, do the things you need to get done to like just, you know, be more at ease and enjoy the new year. Number 17 is things that hold you back from doing what you want. And by that, I mean like sentences or beliefs somebody else has told you or you read somewhere that are holding you back. Now, these could, for example, be other people complaining about your personality, your mom telling you that a certain color does not look good on you, but you love this color, another person telling you that because you're a woman or because you're that height or because you're have that name, you cannot do this or that or something else, ridiculous things that hold you back from doing things you want to do. Now, of course, this is a bit complicated, but I think sometimes freeing up from these sentences of other people in our mind can help us give like the right push to start something we've wanted to do. I don't know, maybe a YouTube channel, because you believe like, I'm just not funny enough, I cannot talk to people, I have nothing to say. Things like that. Get rid of these. If starting a YouTube channel is something you want to do, get started. And that's just one example. And it goes for every kind of hobby and sports and career change and lifestyle change you can think of. If something somebody has said about you, especially if they don't know you that well, or if they don't know how important that is to you, is holding you back from starting, get rid of it and just get started. I wish you luck. But number 18 is important as well, and that's habits of self-sabotage. And I think even though if we have like pretty good mental health and mostly are in tune with what we're doing and what we want and things like that, most of us have some habits that actually don't help ourselves but hold us back. So I'm gonna be really, really honest with you. I like to sleep. And when I don't need to get up, I sleep way too long. And then when I wake up, I'm on my phone. And then when I get up and eat breakfast, it's like so late. I wanted to start the day 2 or 3 hours earlier. And it's not a huge problem. but it's sabotaging what I can do with a day. It's sabotaging my success. It's sabotaging my self-worth. And so one way would be like giving in and saying like, take as much sleep and rest in the morning as you want and be fine with it. That would help. And the other thing that helps is like, being harder on myself and saying you need to get up at a certain time. You need to start your day at a certain time and not miss these early hours of the day. So, there are different things. It works with drinking water. It works with working out. It's about people you talk to, people you want to forget and not be in contact with. Different things. Make sure you're not sabotaging yourself more than absolutely, necessary, or nothing is necessary, but try to get rid of these things as much as possible. And number 19 is just general restrictions. For me, that would maybe be trying to be a perfect minimalist. And that's a restriction that I just gave up. I'm not going to do anything in the name of minimalism anymore. I'm doing it everything to live a happy life. And if that happens to be in line with like minimalist values, then that's great. But if that's, if somebody believes that it's not minimalist enough what I'm doing, then I don't care, because I'm not doing anything to be a perfect minimalist. I'm doing the things to live a good life. The same might go for, restricting your food, restricting yourself from going outside because you think you only earn to take a walk when you've worked for 10 hours a day. Things like that. Get rid of restrictions that are unnecessary. Get rid of restrictions that keep you from living a healthy and happy lifestyle. No matter if they're in the name of productivity, diet culture, a certain image you have of yourself or somebody else has of you in their head. Make sure you do things for you and for your happiness and for what you want to do. And I don't think there's a real risk of becoming super selfish and a bad person, to be honest. Number 20 goes hand in hand with that. Declutter things other people want from you, especially if it's not things you want to do. Like, it's amazing to have relationships and do things for friends and family and help each other. That is like a crucial part of having a community and having friendships and family, of course. But if there's stuff that people repeatedly ask you to do that you don't want to do, it won't help your friendships and relationships with family and like with everybody. So make sure to declutter these. Make sure to say no if it's something you don't want to do, because that ultimately will, make the friendship more honest and better in the long run. I really believe that. That especially also goes for the upcoming holidays. I think holidays are just involved with so many traditions that are sometimes more toxic than we want to admit. So make sure to, be very honest with yourselves. What are the traditions and things you want to do, and what are the things that are stressing you out more than they're giving you anything of like positive outcome? And make sure to, be honest with your friends and family and make sure that it's good for everybody. Number 21, when we plan New Year's resolutions, I want you to get rid of big goals that are more so things you have to push yourself instead of things you want to do. So some of us make more or less New Year's resolutions. Some might even don't make any, but still have like a faint idea in their head of how they want to change themselves in the new year. And especially if you have like a whole list of stuff you want to get done and you want to become your best self, but it's like there's so much you need to do for that. I think it's really important to think hard about it and make sure that you're focusing on the things that are actually fun, that are actually promoting a life that you will be happy about, and not just in the long run, but also in the short run. So I think we need to declutter goals where we push ourselves more than we should and that are so difficult for us that maybe during the year of 2023, we won't have any fun. Of course, there are long-term goals. Like, for example, for me, it was like receiving my bachelor's degree. I really wanted to study and finish my degree, and it was not fun for a long period of time. And it was still necessary, and I still believe I did the right thing. Of course, there are goals like that are just very exhausting. But we shouldn't have more of those than necessary. And if you're studying something that's really not making you happy, then maybe it's even an idea to consider like doing something else. The same goes for career, relationships, and every part of your life. I don't think it's a good idea to push yourself too hard if it's not even leading somewhere where you are absolutely sure it will benefit you and make you happy. So declutter your goals, make sure there are a lot of fun ones, or the ratio between things you really want to do and the things you have to push yourself is in a good balance. Number 22 is guilt. And especially when it comes to, like, being guilty because you don't think you are the perfect employee, you think you're not the perfect friend, you think you're not the perfect mother or father or daughter or son and things like that. Guilt, I don't think is actually helpful. Of course, if you have real concerns that you're doing something wrong, that you're screwing something up, that things are not working out, I think honesty would be the better path. And of course, these are difficult things. But I just think feeling guilty and making yourself smaller and being hard on yourself just won't help. For me, maybe a big one would be guilty for not being productive enough. Because the guilt itself will not make me more productive. I have to, dig deeper and find out, why am I thinking that I should be more productive? Why am I not as productive as I want to be? What methods can I use to, accomplish what I want? But feeling guilty and being hard on myself is never going to help and solve the problem. So please declutter as much of guilt like that as possible. And number 23 is a really important one and might make this whole video obsolete, and that is pressure. I think pressure is something really stressful and it can make our lives a lot more difficult. And so I want you to get rid of as much pressure as possible. Pressure to be perfect, pressure to do all the right things, pressure to, show up in a way that you just can't and don't have the energy to. Even if it means walking away from this video and saying, this is too much, I'm not gonna declutter, I can't declutter right now, I need something else. Also, especially the upcoming holidays, they can be really exhausting. So please be, kind to yourselves and take the time for yourself. Step away if it's too much and take away as much pressure as possible. Now, decluttering and minimalism for my life, I would say they have taken away a lot of pressure when it comes to spending money, consuming, maintaining a certain lifestyle and trying to compare myself to other people. So I think minimalism in the end has removed a lot of pressure. But sometimes even minimalism itself can add pressure to be the perfect minimalist, to declutter more, to be more effective and efficient when it comes to, becoming more minimalist, things like that. Avoid the pressure. Give yourself some time. It won't help if it's just stressing you out. So these are my 23 things that I hope you can declutter, or you can declutter some of those before the new year, or at least start on that journey, because I'm positive that it will make your life better. Now, let me know if I forgot something important, if there are other things you want to declutter before the new year or in the new year. And now I'm actually going to link you a video from 1 year ago all about decluttering, answering your questions and everything you need to know more so in the decluttering process and not what to declutter. So I hope I'll see you there, and otherwise in my next video. Goodbye.